Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I know it's been a couple weeks, but we had a few setbacks, and I figured I'd better give an update to talk to you about the setbacks. And this is the kind of stuff that happens when you're working on these old bikes, especially things that are a little bit odder than most. On the plus side, I finally got my fake battery box. Okay, it's a replica of what an original Lucas battery looked like. It was hollow inside, and so I was able to fit my little 6-volt alarm battery in there. And then it comes with a top, and then it fits right in the battery box like it's supposed to. And I mean, yeah, you can tell, but it's better than hanging a modern looking battery on there. Okay, so I redid all the wires with the proper British type bullet connectors and British bullet inline connectors. So, and then I have these for connecting to the 6-volt alarm battery, and all this curls up and hides inside of this. So I was all ready to make a video for you guys of me starting the bike. If you remember, I made new fuel lines, got all that ready, and so I turned on the fuel, and lo and behold, the carburetor started leaking like a sieve. So if you notice, the battery box is now out, the air filter box is out, and the carburetor is missing. So this used a very rare and difficult to find parts for SU carburetor that you see here. I have disassembled on my workbench here. The carburetor would actually sit like this. Okay, it hangs like this. So the float bowl was actually on top. What I discovered when I took this thing all apart, so this is the top, this is the float bowl, this goes on upside down, and these two pieces come off the bottom. But if you'll notice, this piece fits on here. Okay, there's 4 screws. But when I took it all apart, there are no gaskets on any of these things. So somebody has had this carburetor apart before, put it back together, and didn't use any gaskets whatsoever. And as far as I can tell, this carburetor, this particular SU carburetor, was only ever used on this model Triumph. So getting parts has been very difficult, if not impossible. I finally, after weeks of searching, found a place in Australia. Now, mind you, in case you don't know, I'm in the US. In Australia, that has a gasket kit for all this. And then I happened to find one other place that has the float needle. Okay, so just those parts, the gasket and the float needle, because they're basically unobtainium, they cost about $100 for all of it. But I see why a lot of people try to switch to running an aimable carburetor on these. I don't want to do that. I want to keep the original carburetor. Worst comes to worst, I can make these gaskets. I happen to have a friend that has a scanner and then a laser cutter, and we can laser cut out gaskets, which I've done in the past. But since I was able to buy them, I'm going to try that. The carburetor actually looks clean inside. I took all the jets apart, took all the jets out, and I checked everything out, and everything actually looks to be clean and in good shape, but it's missing gaskets, which is going to be a problem. I also ordered, the same company had the gaskets, had the, I don't know if you can see them here, but on the throttle shaft there's these shouldered neoprene seals. I didn't see them leaking, but since I was ordering everything, I ordered them too. So unfortunately, I got to wait for packages to arrive from Australia. So I'm not sure. That'll probably take a couple weeks before we're able to reassemble this carburetor and see if it's leaking. There's a seal under this fuel enricher lever, which I was not able to find. So I'm hoping that that's not also leaking. But we'll find out when we put it all together. I'm sure having gaskets where there are supposed to be gaskets will help a lot. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for that, I decided it was time to get my World War II Harley. Plus, I seem to be kind of in the military vehicle mode at the moment. So this is my World War II Harley, 1942. This actually came back to the U.S. from Russia. When I got it, it still had tires on it that said made in USSR. So this was part of the Lend-Lease program, and this bike went to Russia, and at some point it found its way back here. I just put a new 6-volt battery in, so I now have electrics. I have spark. One of the issues I had was these have a unique fuel shutoff valve. I don't want to do it now because I don't want to put gas in the carburetor. When we go to start this, I'll show you. You unscrew this, and there's a rod that goes the whole length of the carburetor, or whole length of the fuel tank down to here. So there's a big long rod, and it screws in and out of the fitting and allows fuel to flow through the fuel pipe over to your carburetor. That wasn't shutting off fuel flow when you closed it, so I had to replace that. And in so doing, I had to do a tank alignment because there was a threaded hole here and obviously a threaded hole here, and they have to be perfectly in line or your fuel shutoff rod won't match up with the bottom piece. So there's a tool you have to buy for that, which I did. I did this a while ago, actually. You take the tank off, and using this tool, you get those realigned. Now my fuel shutoff valve works correctly, plus it's new. So I have all that. With the new battery, I checked, I got all electrics. Everything seems to work except my headlight, and the headlight bulb was burned out. So I'm ordering a new headlight. Not that I need that for it to run, but this would be a really cool bike. It's about a 750cc twin, V-twin. They called it a 45. Harley uses cubic inches. So it's a 45 cubic inch engine. You can see the distributor there, okay? These have internal throttle cable and internal spark advance cable. If you notice, there's a cable here. And you control the advance and retard by turning that handle. See if I can do this while showing you guys. So as I turn this handle, now I'm advancing my spark. Now I'm retarding my spark. So to start it up, you want to retard the spark so it doesn't kick back on you. And then once you get it running, you advance it. Unless you're going up a really long, steep hill, once you get it running, you can pretty much just leave it in advanced. Okay, and the same way with the throttle, these are kind of difficult to ride because there is no spring like on a modern bike. So if you twist the throttle and let go, it will sit there and it will stay at that speed. Okay, it's kind of like built-in cruise control. So every time you want to change speed, you have to unwind or wind the throttle to get it to whatever speed you wish. So you're almost constantly making slight adjustments to keep going. And of course, this has the foot clutch and hand shift. Okay. So what you do is right now, so on Harleys, you just remember the old saying, toe to go. So you put your boot on here, okay? And it's not like a car where it lets go. Wherever you put it, it stays, okay? So you use your heel to heel it back, then you can change gears, and then you slowly use your toe to re-engage the clutch. And then you take off. So, yeah, it's a totally different and unique driving experience. This is the military air cleaner because they were designed to be able to go fording underwater through some pretty through some pretty deep water. Of course, you have your fuel tank here. That's your fuel tank. Over here is your oil tank. So half of your gas tank is an oil tank, half of it's a gas tank. It's actually two separate tanks. You can take off one half or the other half, okay? So, and the oil tank on this side actually has a big indent inside here, and the fuel tank has a big bulbous outcropping like that goes inside kind of that cutout, so you have more fuel than you do oil. Okay, and then you can see here's all your oil lines that go down to your oil pumps and stuff like that. So this is a pretty cool bike. I plan on getting this running here in the next hopefully week or so. We've had some really crappy weather here. It like rains like every freaking day anymore, and it's like the middle of May. It's still cold. Like you wake up in the morning, it's 40-some degrees. It's been crazy. So not a lot of riding or anything has gotten done. But hopefully that's going to change soon, and hopefully we can get the parts back for this, and we can get this running and riding, and hopefully in the meantime I'll be able to make a video of this running. So that's where we stand, guys. Until next time, get out in the shop and work on something.